So recently I had the good fortune of walking around in my part of Melbourne here in Australia with a man who can only be described as Polish and who identified as a Roman Catholic. Now, this gentleman in the Myers-Briggs system, which is a non-Catholic system, would be labelled as an INTP personality type. I'm an INFP personality type. A lot of the times when you've got these two different personality types, they have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of ideas to bounce off each other, and often I always find what they say very interesting, even if it isn't the way I think about things. So it was a wonderful chat, wonderful conversation, just stretching on and on and on. And he was very pleasant, you know what I mean? Just pleasant vibe, able to debate things. We were able to argue points, but there was never any aggression. It was always done in a lovely way. So great person to hang around with. The last hour did become very Catholic focused though. He's talking about God's love, God's light. He's talking about the sacraments. He's talking about priests. He's talking about the logic of being a Catholic or being religious compared to the illogical nature of being an atheist. Very interesting topics. We even found a church near where I live, and he said that he sometimes goes to this church when he's running late to his normal church, and he said we can go in if you like. We actually just went around the outskirts, and I was thinking, because I didn't tell him where I lived, but this church is about 2 minutes from where I live. I was wondering if he was trying to get me to return to the church. Now, Catholics aren't known for trying to push you to join their religion or to come back to the flock. I think one of the benefits of being the largest religion in the world is they just don't feel the need to, go out and knock on doors and try and force people into the religion. It's not that sort of cult. What was interesting though about chatting to him again and remembering that I too was brought up as a Roman Catholic and my dad's a Roman Catholic, is one of the major draws I would say about being Catholic is it's hard to discuss this topic. But it's the fact that it's Catholic, it's universal, and it seems to have this legacy of incorporating other people's customs into it. If you know what I mean, like when you look at the Easter celebrations and Christmas, this is a low-hanging fruit. But I think you know what I mean. Catholics were very accepting to all other people, and one of the draws I think was being relaxed about incorporating people's other traditions in. As long as you acknowledge the one true God, you can keep all of your other practices. Now, obviously, this doesn't fit with a lot of Catholic history and the Spanish Inquisitions and things like that. And a lot of people who are part of the church will tell me this is not an aspect of Catholicism. But this Polish gentleman who I was walking with, a conservative Catholic Pole, he was insisting that, because I was trying to test him as he went on his big Catholic rant, because, I do feel Catholic. When I walk into a Catholic church, I feel a sense of well-being sometimes, and I go and receive the body of Christ, and I do all of that, and I feel kind of good once I've gone through that ritual, and I feel Catholic. But I was also telling him about my journeys to Japan and how I was doing prayers at Shinto shrines, and I was feeling a sense of spirituality. Same when I went into Buddhist temples. I was asking him, why do I feel that sense of spirituality? And his answer, he said, well, as Catholics, we believe in other spirits. We just believe there's a true God. It doesn't mean there's not false gods, false spirits. Very interesting way of putting it. So he wasn't going to condemn me at all for what I was doing, which is interesting because I think, as I've said in other videos, when I was in Japan, a lot of the foreign friends I had, whether they were British or German or whatever, they often, if they were at least lapsed Catholics or brought up Catholic, we had no trouble doing all of the Shinto prayers and the Buddhist prayers and incorporating these so-called pagan beliefs into what we did. Whereas the more hardcore Christians that we knew, because you get these hardcore Christians that are really confined here in Australia, and they're not allowed to do anything, and they've got to listen to classical music and nothing else, and then the only way they cope with that lifestyle is by watching loads and loads of anime and retreating into that childlike world, and then they eventually feel the need to just run away and live in Japan and become an English teacher and watch anime all the time. And they still believe in God, but they don't realize by watching anime, you're participating in Shinto rituals. All right, I've got no basis on saying that. That's not true. Yeah, this girl was watching me and my other lapsed Catholic friend in the town of Kamakura worshipping at a Shinto shrine briefly, and she stormed off, got very upset. And we were like, what? But then again, we are seedy Catholics. The other thing about being Catholic that I wonder about, because sometimes when I think about returning to the Catholic Church, it would only be to make connections, to feel part of the community instead of being this lonely figure standing before you making YouTube videos and speaking into a void with no human connections, which causes a lot of damage spiritually physically, mentally, the fact that I'm isolated from all other humans. Whereas if I just joined the church, I would have a flock. I would have a people. But then are there the sorts of people I want to hang out with? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, even when I went to church when I was 19, I didn't feel part of the community, even though I went every week. Sometimes you would shake hands with people, but you never felt part of it. But then again, maybe I wasn't trying hard enough. I sometimes wonder as well if Catholicism is a good religion to meet girls, in the same way as Shinto might be or Islam might be. It's like, if I labelled myself as a Catholic, would it give me a sort of a, I don't know, a charm? You know, if you like imagine the village priest would have got a lot of girls walking around, his hair slicked back, he'd probably undo this, and then he would have like a bit of his chest hair showing. I remember when I first went to, what am I doing? When I first went to Lithuania in 2010, Lithuania being part of the Lithuanian-Polish Commonwealth all those years ago, a big Catholic country. And I was walking around in Vilnius 2010, which was very different to Vilnius when I went back in 2017, once I joined the EU. But when I first went to Vilnius, it felt more quiet. I felt a little bit like, what am I doing in this place? Even though I liked it. I remember walking down one of the main little alleys, whatever they are in the little old town. And I saw this priest, and it was very different. You wouldn't see priests like this in Australia. A young priest, looking really cool, and he had a gang of cronies, and just walking down like these cool priests and these cool compadres. I don't know how do you say compadre in Lithuanian? I reckon I should leave Melbourne. I've got no job, I've got no prospects, I've got no relationships, I've got nothing. I should sell everything I own. How much would an apartment be in Lithuania if I just decide I'm just gonna live in Lithuania in a little apartment? I'll go to church, I'll join the Catholic Church. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud, but let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether you think I should return to the Catholic Church. Do you think I'd be doing it for the right reasons? Or do you think I should just forget it and just stick to the satanic religion of Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram system? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time.